Good afternoon, class. Thank you. You can take a seat. All right, then in our previous lesson, we looked at using the distributive law to remove the brackets or to expand and simplify. We'll be looking at the homework you were given, and then we will be doing an oral exercise on whether you can work out whether the expression is a square or not, or whether it is mostly a square, whether you can actually do what is called completing the square. And then we'll look at an exercise on combination, which is some examples I've got on the board. All right, the first thing, we look at the homework. Letters A, B, C, and D we did in class. Right, number 3, if you can have a look at your exercise books and see where you have that exercise. Okay, we are going to skip number 2. I think because that's number 3. Let me just check. Oh, no. Number 1 we did, that's number 2, and then we'll go on to number 3 and so on. So we'll start from the front. Tao, you will give us the answer to A, 2A.
4y minus 2xy minus x squared.
4y squared? Or is it just 4y?
4y squared minus 2xy minus x squared.
Okay, 4y squared minus 2xy minus x squared. Letter B, Kyle?
2h squared minus hk minus k squared.
2h squared minus, did you say minus 5hk or minus hk? 5hk? Is it supposed to be 5hk? Okay, 2h squared minus 5hk minus k squared. That's for letter B. Letter C, Kila?
2p squared minus 4pq minus 2q squared.
Do you all hear that? All right, 2p squared minus 4pq minus 2q squared. Letter D.
gh minus 3g squared plus 2h squared.
Okay. He said gh plus 2h squared minus 3g squared, or you can have 2h squared plus gh minus 3gh. Sorry, 3g squared. Letter A for number 3, Livingston.
5a squared minus 25a minus 35.
Correct. Patrick?
Minus 7p squared plus 14pq minus 21pr.
Okay. D, Miriam? Sorry, C.
5n squared minus 2mn plus 5nr.
Okay, say that again.
5n squared minus 2mn plus 5nr.
Okay, 5
n squared
5n squared minus 2mn plus 5nr. Okay, letter D, then. Huh? 2n squared minus 2mn minus 3n squared. So it should be negative n squared minus 2mn plus 5nr. Okay. Letter D, then.
Y cubed minus 5y squared plus 9y.
Okay. Next group, you'll have to come to the board and do the questions that are there for number 4. So letter A, Jutaili. B, Hekoi. C, Velma. D, Vui. Okay, no letter E. Quick. Just write the answer, just write the first line for the answer, and not having to write the question again, because the question is on the monitor. So you have enough space. I will just look at this first three. First A, right, 25S plus 10T minus 15U, yes, minus 2S plus 4T plus 2U, okay? 23S plus 14T minus 13U, correct? All right, letter B, y cubed minus 5y plus y plus 3y cubed minus 3y squared plus 21y. Yep, 4y squared plus 17y minus 3y squared. 4y cubed minus, okay, this one, y cubed plus 3y cubed is 4y cubed. Should this be squared? Yes. This one should be squared. Huh? Yeah. Y times minus 5y. Y times minus 5y should be minus 5y squared. And then plus y. So it should be, huh? Where? Yeah, it should be minus 5y squared. Okay, then we'll do it like it is. We'll just look at that one and we'll follow this one. Okay, minus 5y squared plus y plus 3y cubed minus 3y squared plus 21y. Just assume that yours is correct. Okay. 4y cubed, then it should be minus 8y squared. According to this, and plus 22y. Minus 5y squared minus 3y squared is negative 8y squared. And then 1y plus 21y is 22y. Okay, forget this one here. Letter C. 11x cubed minus 14x squared plus 23x is correct, right? All right. D, we. Okay. All right, 10bq plus 2b squared minus 24b is correct for letter D. All right, the next exercise we are going to do based on binomial expansions is that one. Letter A. Solomon, give us your answer.
Squared, x squared plus x minus 30.
Correct. B. George.
X squared plus x minus 56.
Correct. Andrew. C.
12x squared minus 25x plus 12.
Good. Peter. D.
24x squared minus 14x minus 3.
Correct. And Gabriel. E.
55x minus 28 minus 25x squared.
Okay, correct. You can have those the other way around as well, so long as the signs in front of the terms are correct. So minus 25x squared plus 55x minus 28. All right, now the exercise on differences of two squares. All right, a minus 4 times a plus 4. Pond relay, letter A.
A squared minus A minus 16.
A squared.
Minus A minus 16.
You sure? Check. Why were you given a different one? What were you given?
A squared minus A minus 12.
Okay, you were given a minus 4 times a plus 3, which is a squared minus a minus 12. Okay, however, Pond relay, can you give us the answer to the question on the monitor?
A squared minus 16.
Good. You can do the answers without looking. Agnes. B.
A squared minus 36.
Correct. C. Raylene.
49a squared minus 9.
Correct. D. Garanamo.
1 minus 9a squared.
Good. E. Siegfried.
25 minus 9a.
Louder, I can't hear.
25 minus 9a squared.
Good. 25 minus 9a squared. Did I ask you to do this one as well? Yes. Okay, I am going to give you the answers to this. Okay, Jake, I changed my mind. You give us the answer to A.
A squared minus a plus 16.
A squared?
Minus a.
Minus A?
Plus 16.
Plus 60. 16. Oh, somebody here says it's wrong. Let's just see. All right, 2a minus 1 times a plus 5 minus a minus 3 times a minus 7. I actually didn't realize that this is supposed to be based on today's lesson, and I gave it to you, but that means I'll explain it and see if Jake's answer is correct. All right, 2a times a is 2a squared. 2a times 5 is 10a. Minus 1 times a is minus a. Minus 1 times 5 is minus 5. A times a is a squared. A times minus 7 is minus 7a. Then minus 3 times a is minus 3a. And minus 3 times minus 7 is positive 21, which is 2a squared plus 9a minus 5 minus a squared, and then minus 7a minus 3a will give negative 10a, but there's a minus sign outside, so it will be plus 10a minus 21. So 2a squared minus a squared is 1a squared. 9a plus 10a is 19a. Minus 5 minus 21 is negative 26. So the answer is supposed to be a squared plus 19a minus 26. Note, if, listen carefully, if you have it, this is what this means. You're multiplying two numbers. Remember, this actually represents two numbers. Then you're multiplying another two numbers and you are getting the difference. Make sure when you are expanding the second, you're removing the second lot of brackets, don't forget to put the negative sign outside the brackets when you remove them. You have to keep the brackets so you know that you're using it. It means all of this from all of this. Okay, that you only do when you have a minus sign. If you've got a plus, it won't change anything. The signs will remain the same. Okay, our next question then for letter B. Natasha.
2h squared minus 17.
2h squared?
Minus 17.
Okay, correct. Boromio, letter C.
2t squared minus 58.
2t squared minus 58 is correct. Margaret, letter D.
Minus 5p squared minus 34.
Minus?
5p squared minus 34.
Minus 25. Okay, you will note this one is very similar to the first question. There is a minus sign outside. All right, the answer that I've got is 5p squared minus 16. Or you also have a different answer? Okay, let's see if we can work it out together on the board. Okay, we are looking at letter D on this exercise. Okay, 3p minus 5 times 3p plus 5 plus will give us 9p squared minus 25. All right, minus 4p minus 3 times 4p plus 3 will give us 16p squared minus 9. Okay, I found where I made the mistake. Okay, 9p squared minus 25 minus 16p squared plus 9. The answer is actually negative 5, no, 7p squared minus 16. Okay, so it's minus 7p squared minus 16. So my answer is also wrong there, because I wrote 16p squared as 4p squared. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions, any answers that we've looked at that you kind of have questions about? No? Okay, we'll go on to the next exercise on perfect squares. And hopefully you learn to use the shortcut that I gave you. All right, letter A. Your answer should be x squared plus 8, sorry, yeah, x squared plus 8x plus 16. Letter B, Geno, give us your answer, please.
X squared plus 10x plus 25.
Good. Letter C, Rita.
X squared minus 14xy plus 49y squared.
Good. Esther. Letter D.
4x squared minus 12xy plus 9y squared.
Good. And letter E, 16x squared plus 24xy plus 9y squared. All right, so far we've looked at in algebra simplifying by adding and subtracting like terms. Then we looked at expanding or removing the brackets. We looked at specific cases. One, a difference of two squares, and two, a perfect square. And then we also looked at where you just have to use the distributive law to remove the brackets. So far, that's what we have done. Okay, what I'm going to do now, what we are going to do now is we are going to look at this exercise on the monitor and we are going to do it orally. You are going to tell me whether, we are going to tell me whether the expression is a square or not. Okay, to find out whether it is a square or not, first you look at the first term and the last term. If the first term is a square and the last term is a square, it's probably a square. Then you have to look at the middle term. And to look at the middle term, you get the square root of this one, and you multiply it by 2. Square root of 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. That means this is a square. All right. Look at letter B. We are back to Patrick. I'll start from Esther. X squared plus 8x plus 16. Do you think it is a square?
Yeah.
All right, it is a square because this is a square and this is a square. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Very simple. Okay, Rita, let us see. Stand up. Huh? Yes? Okay, it's a square. Letter D. Geno?
Yes.
She says yes. Everybody agree? All right, note, negative 9 is not a square. Because you don't get negative 9 by multiplying 3 by 3 or negative 3 by negative 3. You get negative 9 by multiplying negative 3 by 3, but that means it's not a square. Therefore, D is not a square. All right? D is not a square. Remember, you have to attach the sign to the number as well in algebra. Letter E. Margaret, do you think it's a square?
Yes.
You think so? Is negative 1 a square? Negative 1 is not a square, which means this is not a square. If this was plus, yeah, that will be a square. Boromir, letter F. Do you think it's a square? Yes. All right, it is a square. The square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. It's a square because this is a square and that's a square. It will be D minus 5 squared. Letter G.
Yes.
All right, it's a square. Letter H.
Yes.
Correct? That's not a very confident yes. Siegfried, what about letter I?
No.
Why not? Good, because 8 is not a square. Garonamo, J.
No.
No, because 6 is also not a square. Letter K? No. Minus 4p squared is not a square. What about letter L?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you sure?
I mean, no.
All right, for this one, it's slightly different because the previous ones that we've done, all of these have a coefficient of 1. This one is easy to recognize because minus 4 is not a square. Positive 4 is a square. But this one, this is 16. It's a square. This is a square. What you do is you get the square root of 16, which is 4, and the square root of 9, which is 3. And if you multiply by 2, you're supposed to get 24. 4 times 3 times 2 is 24. This is 12. Therefore, it is not a square. Okay. This exercise is very good. Please listen. The next thing we are going to do, maybe not next lesson, but sometimes you are going to factorize and you learn how to recognize squares. If you don't recognize them, you will not be able to factorize correctly. When we solve equations later on, you will also be able to do this correctly if you can just look at the expression and recognize whether it is a square or not. All right, for homework, sorry we couldn't do what we were supposed to do. We'll do that next lesson. But for homework, listen, it says, form perfect squares by adding a third term to each of the following. All you will do is to find the number that you will add, you get half of this number and then you square it. So the next number that you will add, minus 4, half of minus 4 is minus 2. Minus 2 squared will be 4. Clear? So the next number that goes here will be 4, positive 1. They'll always be positive numbers. Right? That's the first exercise. Next one. It's similar to the other one, but this time you will find the middle number. I want you to work out how you'll find it. I told you already. Okay, and I want you to do letter A on that exercise. It's the same one that I've got here. Maybe you did that already, I'm not sure. But I want you to do letter A only. That will be our next lesson. Our next lesson will be based on that. The keyword to the pilot teacher is binomial. Stand up. Good afternoon, class. Thank you.